Hello, I started this video wanting to do a video on weighted batch pre-processing stacking, and it took me on a bit of a journey which I was not expecting because my plate solving didn't work. So I put this video into two halves because I didn't want to produce a massive long 20-minute video for people to suffer their way through. So I've done two bits of it, basically the stacking bit at the beginning which has some errors with plate solving, and then the second part which goes into more of plate solving type stuff, which I kind of learnt through making this video. So I wanted to share that with you for your deepest joy and possible torture. And yeah, I hope it's useful to you. Blue top with a green background and the keying doesn't work. Oh well, at least you can see my face. Weighted batch pre-processing script in Pixinstght is how you stack in Pixinstght. There are two processes which I'm going to go through. First of all is blinking. So you go processes, all processes, and down to blinking. You then need to load your files into this window. So I'm going to drag a few across at the moment. I'm not going to do loads because I've already done this. So I'm going to just drag a few across. It then loads them into this window, and then you're very quickly able to skip through these to see if they're any good. Now, slide spoiler, I've actually been through these, so I know that all of these are good. So you can see here, these all look pretty good. Yeah, there's a couple of bits there with some high-level cloud, but they're pretty good. Now, if I stop this process and show you how to select them, basically you select the ones you want by clicking Shift, and the ones you don't want you just untick, but of course it then unticks all of those. So this is a tricky tool. Basically, if you tick the box, that has not selected it. It's just like you getting a pen and going, yes, I want to keep that one. To select it, you then have to actually highlight it as well. So once it's highlighted, you've selected it. Once you've chosen the files you want, what you have to do is tick the ones you want so that you can remember where they are, and then select the individual files as well. Then you have to move the files. You can either move the files that you want to keep to your selected location, or you can save a copy of those files into your selected location. So blinking is a really important tool because it allows you to get rid of the data that you don't want to stack. Once you've blinked your data, it's really important to do a bit of file management. So I've already got a folder here that says Andromeda 240-second exposures, and they're blinked. And these are all of those files. So I know that these files are all good, which is great. And then if I go up one level to my Andromeda folder, I've got my flats and my dark flats ready to go from this session. And then here I have my darks library ready to go. I know that I'm going to be using the darks, which are 240 seconds, and I've got those ready to go. With your darks, it is worthwhile taking them every 2 to 3 months because your sensor over time changes, and darks from, say, this year will not be able to be used next year because your sensor will have changed. It will have aged, just as we all do. So therefore, you need to take a fresh darks library every 2 to 3 months, but that's something you can kind of do during the day with a cooled camera. Once you've done your file management and you know where all of your files are, you go to Script, Batch Processing, and then Weighted Batch Pre-Processing. So we select this. This is the script that we have here, and we're going to load our files into this script. The first thing we need to do is load our lights. So we select the Lights tab, and then we go down to the files here, and we then want to navigate to our Andromeda Blink files. So here we are. So we navigate all the way down, select our files, which is all of those, and click Open. And they're all in the list here. Then we want to go to our flats. I'm going to click Add Files at the bottom, and then I'm going to navigate to my flats and select those and click Open. And then for my darks, I will navigate to my darks library and then select my darks, and I'll load those in there as well. For my dog flats or my flat dogs, you need to go to the Add Custom tab, which is here. Click Add Custom and then Add Files, and then navigate to your folder and then select dog flats and scroll down for all of your dog flats and note the duration 0.06737, because what you're going to do is put the image type, which is a dark frame because it's a dark flat, and then you need to put in the exposure time so it knows which files to go to, because these should be the same duration as your flats. So I'm going to put this duration in and click OK. It's now populated the dark flats below the darks themselves, and it's given them a little F to say that they are dark frames for the flats. We then need to just check we've got everything. So we've got our darks, our dark flats, our flats, we've got our lights. We're not using bias frames for this session because we don't use bias frames with CMOS cameras. And then we can look at calibration. It's really important that you check that CFA images here is clicked. That has to be clicked in order to work. So you just check that that is ticked there. Hello. This is Future Andy here. I wanted to tell you about CFA images, which is here. CFA stands for Color Filter Array, and it's really important that when you debayer your images that this is switched on. So if you switch that off, your images will all be grayscale. They'll all be in black and white, so you need to have that switched on. Color Filter Array, if you hover over it, will give you a little bit of information there which tells you about the fact that it's using the debayer pattern to process your image so that it becomes color data. It's really important that in the weighted batch pre-processing script that you actually tell the astrometric solution here when you took the image and what the image is of. I didn't do that, I failed, my fault. So if you were to go in here, you would search for M31, which is Andromeda, and then click search. We then want to select Messier M31 there and click OK. And then we need to look at when we took these files. I took them in 2021 and it was the 11th month and the date was the 6th. And I don't really need to worry too much about that, but I think it was around 7 o'clock, so up at 1900. That should also hopefully allow the plate solving to work. And also on the post calibration, you want to enable drizzle so that you're able to take advantage of the higher resolution from drizzling. Then we need to go over and select weighted batch pre-processing for maximum speed or quality. Now with this, I know because I've practiced this video that it takes about 2.5 hours for my computer to stack this data. So if I was doing this properly, I would absolutely go for maximum quality. But because I'm recording the video, I'm going to do it faster at lower quality. Just for the sake of this video, you should obviously choose the option which is appropriate for you at that time. You then need to select a reference image for registration. So you just click to navigate here. You then go back to your Andromeda light frames and select one of them, one of the blinked frames. So as long as it's a good frame, that's fine. You just need to select that. And then you need to tell it where to store it. So at the bottom here, I've just selected the Andromeda blinked folder so I know exactly where it's going to put all of that data once it's been stacked. So I'll select this particular folder because I know where that is and select folder. This is now set up to stack our images. So I'm going to just click on diagnostics to check everything is in the green. That all looks great. Fantastic, and click OK. And then I'm going to click run. When I did this as a rehearsal, the plate solving for my image failed. I think this is because it's quite old data, it's 2 years old, and I couldn't remember the date I took it. So that could be why it failed, because you have to input that. But I'll run this script now and we'll see what happens. that's it. So Pixinstght has started the stacking process. As I said, this could take a very long time. So I am going to stop recording and I'll come back if anything interesting happens in the meantime. This is the thing I was talking about. This is where the plate solving won't work because I think it's not got the correct data in here, and I can't remember the focal length, and I just can't remember all the details. So I'm just going to click OK, and it will try again, it'll fail, and it'll come back up again any second now. There we go. So I'm going to click cancel, and then the process will continue. There we go. So it's told me here that for plate solving reference frames, it has failed. It will do this again later when it does one of the integration steps. I can't remember which. What it means is that little bit of metadata for the plate solving will not be stored in the final image. But I'll leave this to carry on now. Hello, it's me again. This has reappeared. It's reappeared because at this point in the stacking process, it has to do another plate solve. So this time I'm just going to go cancel because I know it won't plate solve it because I've not got the correct information in here. And for this exercise, although I would normally put the correct information in here, I haven't got it to hand at the moment. So I'm going to just click cancel on this and let it continue with the stacking process. The process has now finished. And you can see here, it says done. So I'm going to click done there. And then it gives me a little summary of what has happened. You can save this if you wish, you don't have to. So I will click done there, and that's it. That's the whole process for stacking. Let's have a look at the folders it's created. So if we go to our source folder where we told it to put everything, which is here in the Andromeda 240-second blinked. So we go in there and we can see now we've got 4 new folders: calibrated files, debayed files, logs, the masters, and the registered. Now the one we want is master here, and we can see various files that it has created. So let's have a look at some of these. So I am just going to drag this. I'm going to go first of all for this one here, and then let's get a screen transfer function up. So we have 3 different files. One is the rejection. This one shows rejection low, and this one shows the master light. So I'll do a screen transfer function on that. And that's our master light file that we have here. We can just close these because we don't need those. Let's have a look at one of the others. So we'll go for the drizzle with auto crop. And again, it opens 2 files. This is the area that was used for the auto crop, so we can close that, and then we can do a stretch on this. And there is our auto crop and fully stacked file ready to process. It looks pretty good. So that is how you stack in Pixinstght using the weighted batch pre-processing script.